Hello, everybody, and happy Saturday. I'm a little bit later than normal. Let me adjust this camera a little bit. But I thought I'd come on and start working on a new design that I've been working on, start painting it. As you can see, this is a Christmas tree. I don't have the star done on this one, but this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to give you two different options with this design. I chose to use floral wire. I believe it's 26 gauge. I'll have to look at it. To attach my Christmas light bulbs to. But I am going to give another option. I know some people like to just have them all attached. So I am going to give you an option like this would go to the top and you can glue it wherever you want. And I have 3 different sections here. So I will give that option too as part of this design when I make it available. But I kind of like to do the wire, and some of these are glued down. The reason why I like to do the wire is it gives it more of a 3D effect. And you can bend in whichever way you want. You're not limited to, one way. And I like it better. So, but that's just me. Also too, I've had this product for years, but something else I'll be using is a product called Liquid Glass. It's by DecoArt. And I don't know if you can tell, from the camera that it gives like a shiny effect. So that's something you can do too, so it's optional. So let's go ahead and get started here. The color that I'm going to paint this tree is Hauser Medium Green. So we'll just go ahead and, let me rephrase. I'm going to go back and I'm going to do the trunk first. And I'm going to use Honey Brown. So I apologize for that. And hello to the 2 people that are watching. Thank you for joining. And this design is going to go into, I actually have an old farmhouse country, porch bench. I started that design about a year or so ago. I know there's people that have these porch benches. Mine's just a little bit different. So this is going to go in that. And there's a lot of different pieces. There's 3 different elements for this particular, design. But there's a lot of pieces. So this is definitely going to take a lot of time. I'm currently working on a new insert for my sign, my interchangeable sign. And it's going to be super, super cute. So I'm pretty excited about that. I've been really, really busy. That's why I haven't been on. So. But I'm just using Honey Brown to paint the trunk of this Christmas tree. And it is another hot day today. It's been cooling off really nice at night, but today it's just humid. Even this late at night. I started watching some of the Olympics today. It was watching men's basketball. We'll definitely be watching the men's U.S. team. Boy, oh boy, they got some real players on their team. So I think they're going to do quite well. I personally prefer the Winter Olympics over the Summer Olympics. And I was looking through all the different events they have. My goodness. Wow. Hall of Fame week is starting really, really soon. That's a big to-do where I'm from. And I don't live too far from the Hall of Fame. If you ever get to Canton, Ohio, and you're a big football fan, you really owe it to yourself to go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It is spectacular. And I haven't been there in quite some time. They've really have built that up. It's just, wow. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. My husband and I love football. I can't wait for football season to start. We are huge Buckeye fans. So while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and start painting this tree because it's going to take a few coats. And I'm trying some different sponges that I normally use. The ones that I always use, you can't find them anymore on Amazon. So I need to find a different type of sponge. Those ones on Amazon seem really, really dense. This, on the other hand, does not. There's something funky on that. So I don't know how these are going to work out. Now, someone was saying that Target carries a brand of these makeup sponges that are pretty comparable to the ones you get on Amazon that are no longer available. So, I might look into that. But you can just see, just by me, you know, using the sponge to paint, it's not going on all that great. So, I have plenty of those sponges left, but I thought, well, I'm going to try these because I definitely need to find a replacement. These are not it. I hate it when you find a product that you like and then they just discontinue it. There's a lot of people that use those particular sponges. And when I get to the edges, I'm kind of just tapping lightly and angling my sponge out so I'm not getting it over the edge on the sides of the board. If you do, hello. You can always take a, Clorox wipe and wipe it off. People use paint pens, magic markers. There's all different things you can use. So don't fret if you happen to go over the edges. It's fixable. And then starting right after Hall of Fame week is Carnation week. And that's in Alliance, which is not too far from where I live. That's a big to-do. It's a nice festival they have. I mean, a lot of people don't realize this. Well, first off, the carnation is Ohio State flower. But Alliance is the carnation capital of Ohio. And it's a nice festival they put on. It's 2 weeks, and it's a big to-do around here. So those things are back to back. A lot of different activities available for the Carnation Festival. So if you're from this area, you should check that out. Especially Carnation Days in the park. Lots of stuff going on there. Entertainment, food, just all kinds of stuff. Yeah, this might be okay for smaller areas, but it's just not cutting it on this bigger area. So I mean, I'll show you the difference. Whoa. This is a sponge I always use right here on the, it's in my right hand. And this is the one I bought. I don't know if you can tell, but you can see how dense this one is. Here, you can just see all the holes. It makes a huge difference. And green can be a little bit testy to get a good coat on. And if you happen to get in these score lines, just take a little tool and dig them out. The tool I'm using is something I got from the Dollar Tree. All right. Since this is dry, I'm going to go ahead and just shade it now. I think I'm going to use raw sienna first, and then I'm going to go back and darken it up with, I think, some burnt umber. And I I squeezed out a lot of paint. Didn't want to come out. I've got a lot. So you want to put, that's actually too much paint, but I always put too much paint, but I blend it off really good. Just put paint on the corner of your brush and then take it to your paper palette or whatever surface you use and blend it. And I can tell you right now, the shading's not that dark using the burnt umber. I'm gonna pick another brush. Sounds like there's some fireworks going on. I know we got the tractor poles right up the street, power poles. That's probably, the Grange is probably a mile from my house, if not more. But you can really, really hear them. I'm just kind of trying to go for a subtle shading. And then, like I said, I will darken this up. And I'm kind of just walking the float down just to make the shadow a little bit darker. Somebody's shooting or doing something. You just never know what you're gonna get when you live out in the country. I really want that float wire. That's kind of why I haven't went all the way down on that tree. And I guess I can start. And my bird is on a roll. She's usually, she's talkative pretty much off and on all day long. But at night, she gets really talkative. And she is very talkative right now. I'm kind of surprised that my floats are not drying faster, considering how warm it is up here. But normally when I'm doing my lives, it's early in the morning or in the middle of the afternoon. But I know it's still pretty warm outside. It's been getting in the 50s though at night, which is nice. Hello, thanks for joining. All right, I think I'm gonna do a little bit of that burnt umber just to get that a little bit darker. Yeah, I just wanted that shadow just a little bit darker. I know in a couple weeks, Shaker Woods is starting. I think it starts August 6th. And it's 3 weekends in a row. Just Saturday and Sunday. People come from all over to go to that. It's really a nice craft show. And then a couple weeks after that, they'll have Christmas in the Woods, where it's strictly just Christmas stuff. Which we just went to Shaker last year. We just went to the normal craft show they had. We didn't do the Christmas one, but I'm thinking we're going to do the Christmas one this year. Not that I need any Christmas stuff. I've got tons. Bins upon bins of Christmas decorations. But I think the Christmas in the Woods is only a couple weeks, but you'll see a lot of people from Pennsylvania, West Virginia. Last year, actually seen some license plates from Michigan. Hello. It's really a popular craft show. And what's nice is it's all in the woods. They have really nice walkways for you, even though it's in the woods. But there's structures in there. There's like little cottages, I guess, or shacks. I don't know the term they're using, but it's really, really nice. I mean, it's probably one of the best craft shows around. And you can find everything and anything there. It's funny, this girl I work with, I think she went the first week last year. And she came to me at work and asked me if I was going there. And I said, yeah, next weekend. She goes, will you pick me up these pickles? I said, okay. So she told me the name of the business. These are the best pickles ever. I never realized they made so many flavors of pickles. I mean, they are amazing. I forget the name of the ones we got. But they started off sweet, and then they get kind of spicy. Oh, they're called Sweet Heat. That's what they're called, Sweet Heat. And they are addicting. But I can only eat so many because, I mean, they are hot. I gotta wait for this to dry, get over this better. I know you can't see it in the camera, but I went to paint that and it wasn't, rather put on another coat and it wasn't dry. So it kind of lifted the paint. So you kind of want to watch when you're doing your coats of paint. You want to make sure your surface is dry, because if not, you definitely will be lifting up the paint. So I start out. I'm just doing this so I can get a more accurate shading line. And since I have this green out, I might as well paint my light bulbs. Now on the tree that I showed at the beginning, I only used 15. But I'm gonna go ahead, I have 20 out here. I just used 5 different colors for my bulbs. You can use as many colors as you want. You can use all one color, whichever you fancy. I just like the 5 colors. I will do shading and highlighting on these bulbs. It just gives it another look. That's not something you have to do. You can just paint in whatever color you want. Nikki is just talking up a storm to Alexa. I mean, she is getting a workout down there. If that thing ever broke, I don't know. I think that would make that bird depressed. And since I'm painting these bulbs, I might as well paint these tiny ones. This tree is actually going to be inserted into a tree skirt that has a reindeer head on it. And these Christmas bulbs will be weaved in and out of its antlers. So, since I have the green out, I might as well do that. Now that I chose not to do with wire. So that'll be cut using the laser. Okay. But there'll be other elements in this design and more light bulbs. If you were to purchase this design, I would give you, hello. I have a light bulb in there, and then you can just choose, to cut as many as you want. If you were to buy the wood kit, I'd have to go back and count exactly how many bulbs I use, but I'll give you the option of whether you want to use the wire to attach them or the ones that are already pre-cut, like this one is. So you'll get that option. I mean, the wire, doing it with the wire does take a little bit more time, but I just kind of like the look of it. That's just me personally. But you can do it however you want. I always like to try and give options when I'm designing, because not everybody likes the same thing. Hello. Hello, thanks for joining. Hi, Virginia, how are you? Thank you for watching. What's the weather like down there right now? It's really hot and humid up here in Ohio. Okay. I think it's a pretty good base coat I have on there. All right. The first thing I like to do, I'm going to go and I'm going to highlight this. I might even try this angled brush. Oh, you have rainstorms. Well, I hope they're not too severe. I used to live in Florida. I lived in Florida for like 8 years. I lived on the Gulf Coast, just a little bit north of Tampa, Clearwater, and boy, we used to get some storms down there. Did not like hurricane season. So I think I'm going to use an angle brush. Normally I like to shade with a flat brush, but I'm going to use an angle brush only because of these curves. I just think it'll be easier to put the paint on. I'm going to highlight, the color is Hauser Light Green. So I just try and keep my brush as flat as I can against the surface, especially with an angle brush. And I don't try and do this all in one big stroke. I kind of like pat. And a little bit too much water. So if you just take a mop brush and just kind of mop up this wet area, it'll keep from getting like a water stain. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and do just the curved part first, and then I'll go back, and then I'll do the sides, and then I'm going to go and do the shading. And I'm just dipping paint into the corner of my brush. I always put too much paint. But then I just take it to my palette. Let's see if I can bring it over here and show you. Move some things around. And then I just bring it on my palette, and I like to just blend it back and forth. And what you're looking for is a gradient from, you know, solid to light. And I just go to my surface and I use a very light touch when whether I'm highlighting or shading. I'm actually running out of paint and water. They say when it comes to blending your paint onto your palette, whatever you see on here is what you're going to see on your surface. I'm just going to go back over this because I was running out. Now I know I'm going to need a lot more water. I'll probably only be able to get halfway here through this. But like I said, I use a light touch. Definitely ran out. And I'm going to have to move my paper palette over because I don't have enough room. But I wanted to kind of just briefly show you that, how I do that. And, you know, floating, highlighting, and shading just takes practice. I think that's the hardest thing about this style of painting. But it just takes practice. I struggle with it all the time. Some days I'm really, you know, everything just works out and goes on the way I want it. And then there's other days where I really struggle. So don't be discouraged if it just is not working out for you that day. I don't know if I like that shading under there. So I'm going to go back and calm it down a little bit. I have way too much water on my brush, way too much. And while I'm at it, I might as well do my highlighting on these bulbs. I have just a really teeny tiny stencil brush. I mean, this thing is tiny. And what I like to do is just kind of put the highlight on the right side, just do a circle. Hopefully I'm not pulling this in too close to me to where you can't see. I don't think I can do those. Those are too tiny. That's all I'll do for the highlighting. I won't do a whole lot. Then I'm just gonna go and go down and do these sides. Trying to put a little bit more highlighting at the point of these layers. Just to lighten them up a little bit more. My water is getting really dirty. I don't know if you folks can hear my bird talking, but my gosh. I mean, I can hear her when I watch the video back, and I know what she's saying, but she is just so talkative. All right. Well, I might as well go ahead and shade these. Oops. Well, that's drying, and then I'll come back and shade this. I'm going to use Hauser Dark Green. Now, this is a pretty dark green, so you want to definitely blend it really good. And definitely want a light touch. So what I like to do for my bulbs is I just like to go down the left side and kind of wrap my shading down around the bottom just a little bit. And I put that on there really, really light, so I like to build my highlighting and shading. Because I feel you can always go back and add. You just can't kind of take away. So I wonder if I can get a very thin shadow on this little bulb. Actually, I can. I don't know if you can see. Looks like it's kind of blurry. But just by adding a little bit of shading and highlighting, how it just gives the bulb a totally different look. Just kind of makes it look a little bit more three-dimensional. Just a little bit. And I try and put about, like, I try and cover the bulb like a third of the way with the shading, but that's just me. Okay. I'm just touching ever so lightly because I know this color's dark. I really don't want a bold line. This brush is in bad shape. I need to see about getting some replacement brushes. See, that's too dark. That's darker than what I would want. So, at least that darkness is up where the star will be, but that's way darker than what I want. Something else you can do too, you could dry brush. You would just have to be pretty spot on because of all the curves. But it's something else you can do. I'm not going to do a whole lot of shading. I mean, I rather see more highlighting than shading. That's just me. Let's see. I can do more. This might actually be a good spot to dry brush. So you know what? I'm gonna try that. I think I'm gonna dry brush. I definitely want to make sure I get my paint. Hello. And you want to rub lightly on your surface. And I'm going to kind of start up here where I know it's not going to be, just in case I didn't get the paint off good enough. And then I'm just going to kind of rub down. I like to rub in circles. That's just me. Some people rub their brush with the way of the line. There's no right or wrong. So whatever you feel more comfortable doing. And I'm just rubbing lightly my circles. Just to bring a little bit of shadow. Part of me kind of wants to just kind of do this. I'm gonna just see. Just to make it a little bit thicker. I just kind of extended that shadow down just a little bit. Not a whole lot. And it kind of like softened that shadow. So. All right, good enough. Okay. Let's start painting these bulbs. So, the colors I chose for my bulbs is red, purple, blue, green, and yellow. You can choose whatever colors you like. And then what I did for the bottom of these bulbs, I used graphite. Hello. I think though if I was to do the option, like with these, I'm gonna paint these probably, I'll probably use the graphite, but if I was to put it on the tree, that one that I showed you, I would probably use the green so it blended in. Because if you think about it, when you're buying your light bulbs to decorate your Christmas tree, usually the cord is green. And the cows have been making a ruckus for the last couple of days. I don't know what's going on. There might be a bull out there, I don't know. And I might as well paint the nose, the reindeer. I'm probably going to paint my tree skirt red. I don't know if I'll do it tonight. Probably what I should have done is when I was doing this tree skirt, I probably should have made this elevated that you glued on top. I just wasn't thinking. Because I think it'll probably be difficult to paint in between that. So I might go and change this. But I think I'll go ahead since I have this red. Just at least get this started and paint around the antlers. Yeah, I can hear the tractor pulls. And I think what I'll do is the outside edge of this, I'll probably do the antique white. I actually have a tree skirt like this, except for my tree skirt is green. And that's kind of what gave me the idea to do this and, in a sense, do this whole design. I don't know if someone's firing a gun out there or what. But that is 5 shots I just heard. And I put this on pretty thick around here because I don't want to have to go back over it. But I'm just going to go around the deer. And then I'll take a sponge. But if I can get a good coat around the deer, I don't see myself highlighting or shading. But you never know. Hello. Now, a lot of people paint the antlers dark, like a dark brown. And if I was going to do that, I probably would have sponged, painted this whole thing. But I'm actually going to do the antlers a lighter color. That's how I did my porch greeter. And I just like doing a lighter color. But you can do it however you want. So I'm just really trying to take my time because, like I said, I am going to make my antlers lighter. And they would be tough to cover the red up if I got red in that area. Hello. I figured painting around this, the antlers on this reindeer would be a little time consuming. But that's okay. When you take your time, you get better results. I'm just not one that paints super fast and slops paint on. That's just not who I am. Probably something I'll do too on this is I have a stencil with really small snowflakes. So I think I'll put some snowflakes on this as well once I get it painted. All right, that's a good enough coat of paint. Let's see how these are. Good enough. So let's do a little highlighting on these. I like to use the color Fiery Red. It's a neon. It's from Deco Art. They have neon paints. Something about this, I like this color. It goes really well with the red. And then too, I might as well highlight this reindeer nose. Just want to highlight the top of it. The same as the green, I'm just gonna just do a round little circle on the right side. Just to give it a little bit of highlight, so it looks like it's kind of glowing a little bit. That I didn't get enough paint off my brush. That's a little bit brighter than what I would want. That's all right. try and highlight that nose just a little bit more. Just to brighten it up a little bit. And you know what? Let's see if I can get a little bit of highlighting on just the edge of this. I might be able to. Just a little bit. See if I have any more of this green. So it just adds a little bit of highlighting. Gives them a different look. And you can see I don't have a really small angle brush, but how I'm to get such a skinny line is I have my brush tilted. So that's how I'm able to do that. All right. I'll let that dry a little bit, and then I'll go back and shade. But while I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and do the next color. Do the purple. What I'm going to use is lavender. Whoa, too much paint. I have a heavy hand today with the paint, and that's not like me. My water is really, really dirty. So I'm going to be taking a break here real shortly. It needs cleaned out. So I'm going to use black plum to shade my country red. It's going to put it down the left side, walk it out around to the bottom. Just to give it a different look. And that black plum is pretty dark. See if I can get like just a thin line of shading in this other bulb. I want that just a little bit darker, I think. And then something too, when you put that liquid glass on, it does happen to change. It does, Virginia. Yeah, these smaller pieces do take some time. I mean, it's not necessary to shade and highlight them like I'm doing, but it's just who I am. It's just something I like to do. I just think it adds more interest. Okay, for the highlighting color for the purple, I'm going to use a color called Wild Orchid. I'm just going to dry brush it on. And you always want to make sure your brush that you're dry brushing with is dry. So that's kind of why I'm waiting in between. This is a small brush. It dries really quickly. But the last thing you want to do is try and dry brush with your brush being wet or damp. So, and I just kind of rub this off until I kind of see almost nothing. And just find your spot where you want your highlight and Just make sure you clean your brush out really, really good in between your paint colors. Because the last thing you want to do is have some paint in there and go to, you know, dry brush and you get another color on there. Okay, let me see if I can highlight these little bulbs over here. You can see a little bit, but not that much. Okay. The shading color I'm going to use is Grape Juice. All my colors, all the paints I use is Deco Art. That's just, I love their stuff. But this color, unfortunately, is retired. However, what's really great about Deco Art is when they retire a color, if you go onto their website, they have a mixing formula, so you can mix this color. They'll tell you what paint colors you need and the portions that you need to mix, how many parts this color and that color. Sometimes though, and it doesn't happen too often, but in order to mix a color that's retired, one of the colors that's needed is a color that's retired. So sometimes it might take 6 different colors to make one color. So that's the bad thing about it. But what I'm going to do, well, first off, I'm going to see if I can get like the hexagon numbers or whatever. I think it's called hexagon. I can't remember. Get those numbers so I can write them down, and then I can go to Home Depot or Lowe's and then have them mix that paint up for me by those numbers. If not, I'm going to take my empty bottle and I'm going to have them mix paint for me by just, I guess they can like scan the color and mix paint. So there's just certain colors that I like to use. I love this Grape Juice, but it's retired. I love Camel. It's retired. I love Uniform Blue. It's retired. So I definitely will be having those mixed for me. And this paint lasts a long time. If you close your lid and you know, store it properly, these will last a long time. So and this Grape Juice is not as dark as the Black Plum or the Hauser Dark Green. Excuse me. See if I can get just a little bit of shading on here. Yeah, but you really can't tell. which is okay. All right. All right, I'm gonna base coat my blues, and then I really need to empty my water. It's bad. It's terrible. All right. The color I used for my blue parts is Williamsburg Blue. And this is kind of like a country looking blue. But once you start adding the shading and the highlighting, it really changes how this looks. Well, we're almost done with painting these. It's just a matter of painting the yellow, painting the star. Whoa, too much paint. Painting the base of these bulbs. Not even sure what time it is. 9:12. I don't even know how long I've been on here. I need to look at that. But I will definitely be on live tomorrow. I'm not really sure what time. I know I want to watch the men's basketball. USA is playing Serbia. And I want to watch the men's basketball team playing. I know that's on, I think, 11:15, I think. So I'm either going to be on early in the morning, like 8 or 9, or after the game. I love basketball. I love it. All right. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break because I really, really need to empty my water. It's bad. Let me just go over this real more purple. And I need to check on the kittens. Make sure they're okay. And then I will be back. We'll finish painting this. All right, so I will be back shortly. All right, Virginia. Thank you so much for watching. Okay, let's continue on. All right, I'm gonna highlight this blue with a color called Winter Blue. That's a little bit more than what I wanted, but yep, somebody's definitely setting off fireworks. I get it. That's a little bit more than what I wanted, a little bit darker. Oh well. Okay. Okay, the color I'm gonna shade with this blue is deep midnight blue. Like I said, I'm just going down the left side and down around the bottom, just to bring in a different color. Give it a different look. Yeah, my highlights are a lot brighter than they normally are. Something I definitely notice doing this at night and not having the natural light come through my windows is I'm kind of getting a glare for my overhead lamps. I mean, these lights overhead are really, really bright. But you definitely need good lighting when you're painting. That's a must. Usually this blue is a little bit darker than what it is going on tonight, so usually one pass is good enough, but I'm just not getting that darkness I want. I want a little bit more darker. Okay. Last but not least, the yellow. All right, the color I used for the yellow, and I'm gonna paint my star too, is marigold. And I'm still debating if I want to use a liquid glass, and two, if I do use a liquid glass, do I want to put it on my star and make that shiny too? So I'm kind of undecided. Now I'm just going to get these painted tonight and shaded. I'll paint the bottom of the bulbs as well. And then tomorrow I will show you how I put the wire on these. Let's do down here. And I think the wire I have, it's definitely floral wire, and I believe it's 26 gauge. And the highlighting color I like to use is Moon Yellow. I'll probably do a little dry brushing on this star as well to highlight it. We'll see. Too much highlighting. Oh well. All right, let's see if I can find a bigger brush. I just kind of want to like highlight the tips of the star. Kind of not looking for anything too bold. Need a little bit more on there than that. I had to go back and float a little highlighting just to lighten up those tips just a little bit more. I just wanted a little color variation. And I might even go and brighten it up with a little bit of buttermilk. See how much lightness I get. All right. I know I always like to shade my marigold with honey brown. I think it's a good color. It just brings a different color in. It's not too dark. I think it just blends nicely. And I definitely need to go back, but I'll build that up. I want a little more darkness, but not a whole lot. But just see how that changes the look of the yellow. It just kind of darkens it up. Pretty much shade a lot of my yellow with honey brown. I just think it's a good combination. I'm not sure what the recommended color is for marigold. Something tells me true ochre, yellow ochre maybe, I'm not for sure. But I just stick with this brown. Just looks nice. Just blends really, really well. But it just gives a different color. I think I want a little bit more of my bulbs. Just to darken them up a little bit more. It just kind of turns them into like a more golden yellow, that brown does. Just my opinion. Okay, that's it for that. All right. On my graphite. And this gray is not too dark, but it's not too light. And it doesn't stand out. It kind of blends with these light bulbs, I think. I'm gonna pop off those antlers. Kind of went over my line, I think. A little bit. I'm rushing. I'm usually not up this late painting. And I definitely have a whole lot of water on my brush. This is about it for tonight. So to the two people that's been here since I started, thank you so much. It was nice to see Virginia. I'm not sure what time I'll be coming on tomorrow, but it'll be sometime. I know I want to get these bulbs put on the tree. Get my tree skirt painted. And then I'll, depending on how long it's been, I might start on another element of the design. Because we have 4 different elements for this particular design. And I do take a little bit longer than others may do painting, but like I said, I just can't slap on paint. And with these being my designs that I created, you know, it's important that they get displayed properly. So I know how I want them to look, so I do my own painting. I don't have anyone paint for me. So no matter how busy I get, I will always paint my own stuff. Because I know what I want it to look like when I design it. I always have an idea in my head what I want the finished product to look like. I think all designers are like that. You know, you have an idea in your head, you know how you want it to look in the end, and, you know. I think that's where the creativity comes in for people that design. And there's some very talented people out there. Very creative. I respect what they do. Okay. I think that's it for tonight. So, this is where we're at. We'll get those attached to somewhere. Get them attached to this tree. And I might, before I come live, I might just go ahead and paint this before I start attaching things. Maybe I'll just go ahead and paint the gray now so you can kind of see what that would look like if you were to go this route, if you were to buy the design. So might as well just do that now since I have the gray paint out. Might as well do that. It's not gonna hurt. Oh, I was gonna do these green, wasn't I? Oh well. I'm not putting them on my tree. I like the wired idea anyhow. Yeah, I just think, well, we'll see. When I'm done painting this, I'll just set it on my tree. But I just think painting these gray like this will just stick out. I mean, yeah, the wire sticks out, you know, but it's not going to be as bold as this. Just my opinion. I can still hear those tractor pulls. I don't know how long they go on for. It's a small Grange. And then the fair should be coming up pretty soon there too. That's usually mid-August. So we have a lot of activities around where I live in the month of August. All right, let's just see what this would look like. I think it would, I don't know. I mean, it sticks out. It's bold. It's just not my thing. I think it's too bold, but that's just me. So, but anyhow, with that being said, I'm going to call it a night. I will definitely be back on sometime tomorrow. Not exactly for sure when. So just keep an eye out. And if you're not able to catch me live, where a lot of people don't, I get a lot of views after the fact. You know, you can always type in hashtag replay, letting me know that you did watch. That would be nice, but not necessary. So until then, you folks have a nice evening and take care. Bye-bye.